Well, Joan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, well, good to hear. Yeah. Well, while I was preparing this interview, I've read that you don't like to talk about your personal life. When did you decide that to keep those things separated?
Since I was little.
Yeah.
This is how I've always been. It's nothing to do with people knowing who I am. I've always been very private, very quiet. It's nothing to do with having a musical career. It's you'll notice that because this year is my 40th year, and you notice in all those 40 years there isn't anything. Well, that should tell you that that's how it is.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. Because then in this day and age, a lot of pop stars are just very open and throwing everything into the world. How do you look towards those artists?
You've just got to be who you want to be. You know, we're all very different. I'm a very quiet, kind of, you know, this sort of person, whereas another person is very extrovert. And being an extrovert, they're comfortable with being an extrovert. So I wouldn't be comfortable with being an extrovert. You just got to be who you are. So from the time I've known me, this is how I've been. And if you think about, well, let me ask you this question, right? You've got friends, right? So do you tell every friend exactly the same thing?
No, of course not. No. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So why should you, just because you've got a name, tell everybody everything? Because in real life, that's not what you do. You tell your best mate quite a lot, and then you tell the next best mate less than you've told your best mate. And as the thing goes down in terms of the closeness of the friendship, you tell less and less. And you have friends that you might only talk about films to, you know, or you might have friends that you only talk about music to, or whatever. So it's quite a normal thing to limit the exposure that you give to yourself, you know, around all the different people. So it shouldn't be any different just because you've got a name.
In what way does it find its way to music, or maybe in what way is the music important to?
Well, I'm probably extrovert in terms of music. I'm very, very, very confident when it comes to music. Some people might say I'm too self-assured, but I'm very assured about what I can do in music. I'm very confident about my writing skills. Not saying that everybody will think that I'm a great writer or would like everything that I've done, but it's important that I do, because unless I like it, I'm not going to convince anybody else to like it. So you've got to have that confidence. So I've always had that. Even when I started and I was really super shy, and you could see how shy I was, even at that stage, I had real confidence about my music. And that's why the singing and the songs and everything always came across so strong, because that confidence was there.
How do you explain the difference?
I've no idea. I think it's just the love of the thing. It's just, I think I was born to write. And I think just because it's very natural and I absolutely adore doing it, that there's nothing to kind of guard against, if you like, you know. So, yeah.
Do you remember the moment that you really fell in love with music and the writing?
Well, I know how I started, and I tell this story all the time, but my mother bought a piano, put it in the front room. She bought it just as a piece of furniture, not because anybody was going to play it. She had the wall that she wanted it by, or, you know, sitting next to. And literally, as soon as that piano arrived, I started writing songs. I used to write limericks and funny little poems and jokes and little stories and things like that before the piano arrived. But when the piano arrived, then they turned into lyrics, turned into words that would fit with music. And the piano, when you look at a piano, any note that you hit on a piano, it will make a nice noise. You know, if you hit two together, even a discord will sound really nice. So it was just a matter of picking out. I didn't have lessons or anything, but as I say, you'd hit two notes and think, well, that sounds really good. I can do a little tune through that, you know. So you just go along like that. Yeah.
So, were there any other childhood dreams, or was it purely focused on that music?
I wouldn't even have said it was a childhood dream, because I didn't I didn't think, oh, I wonder if I can write music, because that's when it becomes a childhood dream. I didn't even think that. I didn't think, oh, I wonder if I can write music. I just woke up one day and wrote music. You know, it was just there for me to do. So it wasn't like a big ambition to be a musician or anything. I was just born to write. That's it. That's why I'm here.